So let's bring the camera a bit closer and see how we get on. Okay, so here we are a little bit closer, and I put the shell back on just to give you a quick look at the sort of condition that it's in. So most of the decals are peeling off. Looks like it's had several tumbles in the past, a few splits in the rear, and spin the shell around. Similar on this side, decals all coming off and several little splits underneath. So there might be something I can do at least to make that a little bit stronger, and I'll come back to that at some point. So if we have a look inside, so I really like these double spring suspension system, and actually the suspension still feels pretty good. There's little bits of rust at the bottom of one of these springs. Just noticed one of the tyres is split. That's a little bit disappointing because I know they're quite expensive to replace and quite difficult to replace. In fact, all of them have got significant damage on the tyres. So I'll see whether we can get hold of a set of spare tyres. But obviously, as you guys probably know, this is first came out in 2003, as I mentioned, so it could be 20 years old. It's got the original HPI 27 megahertz 4-channel receiver fitted, and I can see one of the original servos. I'm guessing that the steering servo is original as well. I'm not even sure where that is. Okay, yeah, it's underneath, so, well, visible underneath. So the original servo as well. Play in the wheels. Thankfully I didn't pay much for this. I'll tell you a little bit later how much I did pay for it. It came with a little bit of nitro fuel, and the person I got it off did say that they'd had it up and running quite recently, so that's reassuring. And there is nitro fuel in the fuel tank. Now that's either good or bad. It doesn't look like it's gone solid at all, so that's a good sign. Just giving it a push, and then we've got some pretty free movement, which is good. And let's just have a look and see whether we can get some power. There's some batteries in there. All I'm going to do is turn it on as it is and see whether we can get some action. So let's plug this power in. So I'm a big advocate of, this is going to be a bit of an investment, time and effort to get this up and running. And there's a few things that, if they don't work now, then I may even resell it as a going concern. For example, if the engine really struggles to get started, or doesn't start at all, there's no compression or something, then I know that's going to be a bit of a problem. I'm already concerned about the cost of these tyres, but I'll have a look. Okay, let's get that plugged in. Now, it didn't come with a transmitter, so I've got this. This one actually came from a really old RC helicopter, but it's the only one I've got working that is a 27 megahertz AM transmitter. So I've popped a crystal in here, popped a matching crystal in here already, so we can see a little crystal drops in the front, and let's see if it runs. Okay, so I can hear a little bit of chatter on the servos, but because this was originally plugged in when I had a look at it, could be that these batteries in here, which are this little battery pack in here, which nobody really likes. Let's try and replace those batteries with some good ones. Ultimately, I'll replace all this what I want to try and achieve today is to get it running. Okay, just grab some batteries. Okay, some decent ones. Right, let's put these in. Well, check these battery connections. There we go. I think it's just the batteries have leaked to some degree. I think there's a loose electrical connection. So, conclusion, loose electrical connection. I'll probably replace all this anyway, so that's not a problem. Replace it with a decent, a more modern receiver, a more modern battery pack, rechargeable. And servos, I don't know yet. See how much money I want to invest in it. Okay, so can't quite see in there, but there is some card is opening and closing. It's opening maybe 85% of the way. Seems pretty well set up actually. The brake is not closing the carb at all any further, so it should run. Well, assuming the engine does run. Okay, next thing we want to look at then is whether we've got a working glow plug. Now, I'm just going to take this one out and have a look. Find some tools. Actually, glow plug looks in good condition, so that sort of makes me think that it's been up and running. Okay, let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's there's a good glow on that. It looks relatively new, so that's making me think that somebody's been trying to get it up and running quite recently. See if we can pop this back in. Get these set of pliers here, sometimes find it a little bit easier to drop in. There we go. Oh, now get your glow plug tool back on. Go. And then remember never to over tighten these with that copper washer under these types of glow plugs, and you get that nice seal without having to over tighten it. Just a point to remember. Right, so quick summary then. Tires are shot, electrics works but very intermittently. Battery pack, yeah, I'm going to replace all that, but the battery pack is got some issues with the previous batteries have leaked, but it seems to be working right now. The servos do work, as I've just said. Carb is opening and closing. Glow plug works. So I think, you know, without having to go much further, I want to try and get this engine up and running. It was just a quick blast just to see how it goes. So how am I going to do that? First thing I'm going to do is get my drill out. Okay, something I forgot to mention is that it has got a rotor start fitted, and I don't have a rotor start yet. So I'm going to improvise and try and use the drill to get it up and running. This is what I'm going to be using instead of a roto start. A standard cordless drill, a little bit of an extension on the end. Top tip, if you are going to use one of these, it needs to be pretty quick. So this is an 18-volt cordless drill. But one of the most important things, or the two most important things, are for a HPI rotor start that it's counterclockwise, it spins, and you've got your torque level quite low. Yeah, if the torque level is too high and you flood the engine, you're going to have some big problems as you wreck the roto start back plate, and it's going to need replacing. So, top tip there. Got my glow start, got my heat gun, and that's pretty much it. Before I do get it going, I am in my garage. There is a flat actually above my garage, like a coach house. So I don't want to pee my neighbour off too much. So I'll try and get it up and running. But I'll have to take it outside to give it a good clear out of the engine. So let's go. Heat the engine. Okay, that should do. Oh, you'll notice I haven't got an air filter on it. I haven't actually got an air filter for it. I've probably got several that will fit it, but I need to be able to see the carb moving just so I can keep an eye on it. That's why the air filter's not on. Fuel. I'm going to use this method to prime it because it's easy access and I can easily see the fuel flowing. Okay. So you could turn the engine over with the drill or roto start, put your finger on the end of the muffler stroke exhaust, and that will suck some fuel into the engine. Let's get the glow igniter on. Should be good to go. Just check this is spinning in the right direction. Yep. And let's go. Wow, I mean that was quick. I know heating the pre-engine is good, the glow plug was good, obviously the fuel is okay. So yeah, I'm beginning to believe the previous owner had recently had it up and running. Let's see if that'll run a bit longer. Not that time. What I'm going to do is give it a bit of trim. I normally do this. Try and open the carb a little bit. That way I haven't got to use multiple hands. So the carb has just opened maybe another, instead of being half a mil, it's about a mil and a bit. I don't think there's much fuel getting in there. I'm going to try and drop a bit of fuel straight into the carb. Ooh, not too much. Whoever said. Good sign. Okay, so we've got it started there. I'm going to move it outside and then I can just let it run to its heart's content. And try and clear out some of this mess. So I'll reset you up outside. this. Helps you turn it the right way. Right, let's broad it pretty much flush with the housing. Probably where I should have started from. Okay, let's try and put a bit more fuel back in the carb. That's probably too much. Dickhead. How not to do it. I think there's a bit of a blockage on the carb. That's the needle pretty much all the way out. Some success, which is good. Right, back in the garage. Well, a little bit of perseverance is all it takes, and these nitro engines do tend to run on and on and on. I think I got lucky in as much as the seller was pretty straight up when they said they'd had the engine up and running quite recently. Fuel was good and the glow plug was good. Not too happy with the state of the tyres, and I'm going to have a look back and see whether they were described in that condition. And I know it's the RC hobby, and sometimes what you see in the pictures is what you get, but I do like people to be a little bit more honest about the condition of the cars when they cars, buggies, trucks, doesn't matter if they're selling them. And certainly something like all 4 tyres perish stroke ripped to shreds due to bashing is something that I would expect to be in the description. So I'll keep you informed, see how that goes. Next steps, which will be in one of my later videos, is to replace all the electronics, give it a good clean, try and source some new tyres, and come back and try and do something with that body shell. If you like what you've seen, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get to see how this HPI Savage progresses. I've got a couple more nitro revival stroke restorations in the pipeline, so if you like those, there's another good reason to subscribe. See you all on the next one.